It is time to finally do a challenge that I love seeing on BookTube. We are going to be reading for 24 hours. Now, I will say, I will not be doing it for 24 hours straight. 1, my body can't take it. 2, my body will hate me. And 3, that just doesn't sound appealing to me personally. So we're going to be doing the 12-hour method. I have never done one of these before. I have wanted to do one for such a long time, but I just never had the ability to yet until now. Honestly, I pretty much have a full-blown kind of just like being able to do it myself weekend as well too. So yeah, I just thought might as well, honestly. I'm recording this a little bit before I'm actually going to start the timer. I'm starting the timer at 10 because I want to be able to like read for those 12 hours. So it'll be at 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and such, and then I'll do that the next day as well too, essentially. But I'm super, super excited for this challenge, honestly. I have a tentative TBR. Well, technically I've had these books picked out for like maybe like 2 weeks or so, honestly, but I'm just so excited to dive into these. I kind of have a mix of genres and such, but I just have them kind of stacked over here, essentially. So the first book that is on my tentative TBR is Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is a cowboy romance, and I'm pretty sure almost everybody but me has read this book. This is the first book in, I believe, the Chestnut Spring series by her. It would also be my first cowboy / bull rider romance and such like that as well too. But basically, like the back of the book is this guy named Rhett Easton, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He's a professional bull rider, a golden boy, or until he thought he was, until it blew up in his face after a public brawl. His agent says he has to clean up his image and sticks Rhett with his ball-busting daughter for the rest of the summer as full-time supervision. Rhett doesn't need a goddamn babysitter, especially with one in skin-tight jeans, a sexy smirk, and a mouth she can't stop running, essentially, you know? And he learns that Summer Hamilton, I believe? Yeah, Summer Hamilton isn't just another conquest. She sees the man behind the mask and she doesn't run. She pulls him closer even when she shouldn't. So this one sounds really, really interesting to me. I only have the first book in this series because, one, I'm making an executive decision to only buy the first book in a series and then see if I like it. The only ones that are an exception are duologies, to say the least, you know. But yeah, this is the first book that we have on the radar, essentially, for this challenge. Okay, and the next one we have up is another romance, and it is Happy Place by Emily Henry. It's summer right now, honestly. This is a summery book, honestly, and I've wanted to get to this for a while because Emily Henry is slowly becoming one of my favorite, like, authors, essentially, you know. I love her writing style. I loved Book Lovers by her. I did like Beach Read. Great Big Beautiful Life was an okay one for me. It's definitely not on my like top favorites list by any means, honestly, but I have a feeling that I might connect with Happy Place because it's a second chance romance, and it's basically where it's also second chance romance. Basically, these characters, Harriet and Wynne, they broke up 5 months ago and they still haven't told their best friends, so they pretend to be engaged and such, and I'm really interested to kind of see. I've also heard that is also told in dual point of view, so you get Harriet and Wynne's thoughts, essentially, and that really intrigues me. I always love books with dual narration personally, and just like get to seeing both sides of the couple, essentially. I always love those ones. I tend to rate those a lot higher, honestly, than the other ones. But you know, if it's done right, where like it's just like I only see the one person and then I can also see how other people are like feeling it within the actual couple itself, it'll tune me in, essentially, you know. But yeah, that's the second book we have on the tentative TBR. Okay, the next one is a little bit of a curveball. Why did this not focus? What's going on? Focus? There we go. Okay, so the next one we have is a little bit of a curveball. We have Scarred by Emily McIntyre. I read the first book in this series, Hooked, and gave it a 3-star, mostly because I don't remember it very much, but I do remember going very, very fast, and I think I'm gonna like this one better because the back of the book intrigues me just like a lot more. This one, it's technically not told as a retelling, honestly. It's more like a darker tone of The Lion King, essentially, you know, is what I've been told at least, but I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. But this one just intrigues me a lot, and I think I'd really like this one, to be honest with you. And like, of course, with Hooked, it was short, it was sweet, it was very, very fast, honestly. Still don't know how to feel about that book, but maybe I'll like this one a little bit better, to be honest with you. But this is the third book we have on the TBR so far, at least. All right, then the next one we have is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I decided to also throw in a couple thrillers, a couple mysteries and such like that as well, too. And The Last Word by Taylor Adams, I've had this book on my TBR for so long. I got it in my book of the month for May of 2023, which, keep in mind, that's the year I joined Book of the Month. That's the year that I joined memberships with Book of the Month, honestly. But this one is basically about this woman named Emma. She is living in an isolated like house, essentially. Well, she's house sitting and such like that with her golden retriever, and her only human contact is this elderly neighbor named Deke, I believe, honestly. And then she can connect via text message with the house's owner, Jules. Then while she's house sitting, she basically reads a really, really poor written horror novel, and she gives a 1 star, and then she gets into an argument with the author himself. And soon after, there are these different disturbances that are occurring in the night at her house, and she thinks, oh, wow, could the author be stalking me, essentially, And that, I've just heard so many people loving this book. One of my favorite booktubers, Ellen Catherine, she loved this book, and I need to know. I need to know what happens, honestly. And I've also been kind of in a thrillery mood, honestly. So that is the 4th book. All right. And then the 5th and final book that we have on this TBR, because I don't know how many I'm going to get through, to be honest with you. I truly have no idea how many of these books I'm going to get through because I've never done one of these before. But we have The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers with Alex Kiester, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I can't remember, honestly, off the top of my head, But Ashley Flowers, she wrote All Good People Here, and I read that first when I was like really getting back into reading, and I really, really loved that book, to say the least, honestly. So yeah, I loved it. I loved that book so much, honestly. And then this one is basically about these 2 women who are haunted by their sister's unsolved disappearances. They band together in a captivating mystery and such like that. And it's really, really short, honestly. I think it's like 200 pages-ish, honestly. It's around that range. Yeah, 260 is what I have the acknowledgements at, honestly. So I'm pretty sure that I can get through this in a very tiny amount of time, honestly, But yeah, those are basically all of the books that I have on my TBR, and when it hits 10 o'clock, I think I'm going to start with Flawless by Elsie Silver. This one's just calling to me, honestly. I've needed to read it for such a long time, so like when the actual timer starts, I will be picking up this book, essentially. I am going to set some stuff up, essentially, to be able to like make sure that it looks good, essentially, and like just like kind of like cleaning up and cleansing up the space a little bit as well too. And yeah, I will see you guys at 10 o'clock when the timer starts. Hello again, friends. We are currently about an hour and 5 minutes into the challenge. I have about 10 hours and 55 minutes left and such. I am now on chapter 18 of Flawless by Elsie Silver. It's really kind of cute. I'm really kind of liking this, honestly, so far. I'm like only this much into the book, honestly, so I don't have too much to say, but the humor is really, really good, honestly. Something kind of funny happened. We just got to a part where they're at a bar together and Summer is kind of meeting Rhett's family and such, and just kind of like getting to know the dynamic of Rhett with his family, because it's obviously takes place in Chestnut Springs. And it's just really kind of cute, to be honest with you. Like, there are multiple smut jokes being made and such like that, and getting into people's pants jokes made. But like, I'm liking the way that this is written. I'm really, really kind of liking it, honestly. I don't have a rating for it currently because one, I'm only like this much into it. I thought I would be able to get into it a little bit further, but I guess it just didn't work out, honestly. But I thought I'd check in and such like that at the hour mark and just like kind of like talk to you guys about how I'm doing with this, honestly. And I'm kind of glad I decided to choose this one to start with, honestly, because I feel like this is cute, easy little romance, essentially, you know. I feel like it would just be easy to just kind of like go through it, you know. And I really like the cover, honestly. Like I said, we're following Rhett and Summer. Rhett's obviously a professional bull rider. He does something that kind of fucks up his reputation, essentially. Summer is there to be his agent, essentially, or aka full-time babysitter until the championships of his stuff. And I don't really have anything else really to say, honestly. So I'm probably going to keep reading a little bit off camera and such, and then come back when I'm maybe about like 50% of the way through, or just whatever percent of the way through, honestly, you know. But I will probably update you when I'm like maybe 2 hours into the challenge, or just whatever, honestly, you know. But yeah, just thought I'd update you guys. I will see you guys in the next check-in, more than likely. Hi again, besties. I'm coming to check in. Basically, I should have gotten this ready and such like that before I hit recording, but I have about 8 hours and 4 minutes left of this challenge today, at least. So that's about 4 hours that we've read today, at least. And I took a little mini break and such like that to eat some lunch. And I also took a little mini power nap, but that's okay. I'm also coming to update you. I think I am a little under halfway, if you look right there, honestly, of Flawless. And I'm really liking it. I didn't expect that I would like it as much as I do currently, to be honest with you. It's really, really cute. Like, they just had their first kiss, but of course, one of the things on the back, it says that Summer says this means nothing, and Rhett says it means everything. And you can tell that it's one of those things where it's like he falls first and harder. And I don't know about y'all's, but I really kind of like that trope, honestly. And I tell you what, I'm not the biggest fan of country, but I'm really kind of liking the country aspect and such of this book. And it's really, really kind of cute. Like, I'm on chapter 17 right now, currently, page 174. Like I said, I'm on chapter 17, page 174, and I don't know how many pages there are in this. Let me check. Okay, so the actual story of Flawless itself is 378 pages, according to like my book. But yeah, I'm basically that amount through, honestly. I have probably maybe like 203 pages left according to the book, honestly, which is not bad, honestly. It's not bad. I'm also not keeping up with these in Goodreads. I just thought I'll plug them in tomorrow and such like that when I've read them, essentially, you know. But I'm really liking it. I'm going to get off here and I'm going to continue reading, and I will probably take you guys with me during the last maybe 50 pages, honestly, of this book so that we can finish it together. Time for another reader check-in. It is currently it's 4:41 right now, so I have 5 hours and 18, hold on. Let me pull it up, actually. I have 5 hours and about 18 minutes left of the challenge. We have finished the first book, which is Flawless by Elsie Silver. 4 stars. I did not think I would be going into this book thinking that I was going to love it, but I loved it, to say the least. It was so cute. It was so funny. It was so crass. I did not expect to love this cowboy romance as much as I did, honestly. Maybe people are onto something when it comes to cowboy romances. Maybe, honestly. I loved seeing the different character developments and such like that, because obviously we had Rhett, who is a bull rider. He is learning kind of like a little bit about like doing the thing that he wants to do, and then he meets Summer. He gets a little bit on her nerves and such like that, and she gets a little bit on his nerves and such like that, and it's so cute the way that they banter. Their banter was so great in the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, these two are meant to be for each other. And I love learning about Summer's character development and learning about both of their families and the ways that they grew up and such. It was just so beautiful to kind of see, honestly. It was just so beautiful to see their love grow for each other and just their love in general. I was just like, it made me so happy to see. It just made me so happy to see, honestly. I loved it. I loved it so much, honestly. Solid 4 stars, honestly. The romance was great. The third act conflict, I was a little worried that the third act conflict was going to peg it down for me, but no. It made absolute sense for the development and the character development and the story development that these characters needed to go on, essentially. It made a lot of sense for both Summer and for both Red as well, too. And maybe the whole saying of sit a horse and ride a cowboy is, maybe it's onto something. Maybe it's onto something, honestly. But anyways, 4 stars. I am going to put this back on the shelf. I'm going to enter into Goodreads probably later tonight after I am done with the challenge itself. I still have 4 more books left. And looking at these, I kind of want a little bit of a shorter vibe. So I'm going to be going with The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers and Alex Kessler, since I just finished a romance. I don't want to dive into another romance just yet. But yeah, I'm really excited. This one's also a pretty short book as well too. And yeah, I'm going to be continuing on with this, and I'm going to be starting The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers with Alex Kester. Kiester, I believe is how you pronounce his name, but I cannot remember, honestly. So sorry to the author, honestly, if I am pronouncing his name incorrectly. Friends, we currently have about 3 hours and 11 minutes left on this timer, specifically until it hits 10 o'clock. And as you guys saw, I started The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers and Alex Kester. Kiester. I had to remember how she said it in the audiobook and what is going on? I had to remember how she said it in the audiobook itself, honestly. But I'm currently on chapter 12, I believe, which is page 71. I'm not that far into it. I've been listening to it on the audiobook because I tried to just like read it in general, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pick up the audiobook because I have Spotify hours, and you know what? Saves me time. And as you guys saw me, I was coloring and such like that, essentially. And I'm really kind of liking the vibe of this. Like I said, it's basically 2 sisters who kind of come together to kind of figure out what happened to their own sisters who disappeared, essentially. You know, they're looking for their missing halves, honestly, if that makes any sense. And you kind of followed Nicole Morris. I don't remember what her last name is off the top of my head. I'd have to look at the dust jacket. But you're following Nick. She is kind of at a dead-end job. She's going to Alcoholics Anonymous. She recently got a DUI, and her life is kind of falling apart. Then she meets Jenna and her older sister, Jules, along with Nick's younger sister, Casey. No. Actually, I don't remember, honestly. I really don't remember, to be honest with you. I think Casey's actually the older sister, and Jules is technically the younger sister, I believe, but I'm not too sure off the top of my head. But they have both disappeared, Casey and Jules, and they disappeared during like the same type of circumstances, honestly. So their cases were heavily linked, and they basically just disappeared without a trace. There's no traces of them whatsoever, honestly. And then Jenna, the sister of Jules, tracks Nick down and basically says, hey, I want to start looking at our sister's case again because I think I figured out something that the police might have missed. And Nick is kind of a little bit hesitant, but then eventually she agrees and such. And it's really kind of interesting. It's very, very fast paced. There's nothing really like thrilling going on yet. It's more mysterious vibes, honestly. But Ashley has a really good way of being able to do that, honestly. So for the rest of the time, I think I'm going to keep listening to this and such, and I will probably check in with you guys when I have maybe like an hour left and such, or just whatever, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's all I got for now. I will see you guys probably in the next check-in, honestly. Hello again, besties. So as you guys saw, the timer did go off, and I only got done with one book today, but that is a-okay. That is a-okay, to be honest with you. But I did get about like maybe 65% of the way through The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers and such. I have maybe about this much left of the story itself. So I'm happy about that, to say the least. Okay, focus. But I want to do a little bit of a recap on the book that I finished today. Obviously, you guys saw it was Flawless by Elsie Silver. Really, really liked this one. It's a solid 4 stars. Because I was thinking, I'm like, is it a solid 4 star? And I'm like, yeah. It's a solid 4 star, honestly. And also to just kind of do a little brief check-in on The Missing Half. I think I know where it's going to go. I think I know where it's going to go, but I'm not going to tell you where it's going to go. I mean, I'm entertained, but it's kind of sitting at the 3.5 camp right now. It's not really holding, it's holding my attention, but like, it's not like the best writing that I've seen, to be honest with you, you know? It feels very chaotic. It feels very much like, it's good, but like, you know, like, am I going to remember most of it? Probably not, but I can see where this is going to go. I can see where this is going to go. We just got something along the lines of just like, well, you fucked up. Essentially, and I'm not going to say what it is because it's technically a spoiler. But yeah, I'm going to continue on with this in the morning, and I will see you guys after I get a good night's sleep. Hello again, besties. It is currently day 2 of the challenge. I'm recording this around like 9:30 to be exactly, but I'm not starting the timer till 10 again, like I did yesterday. And like I said, I finished Flawless by Elsie Silver yesterday, and I'm hoping to get at least 2 more books done today, maybe 3.5 books, honestly, you know. But like I said, I left off with The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers, and I'm about this much into it. I'm on chapter 30, and I have about this much of the actual book itself. According to the audiobook, I have like 2 hours and 40-ish minutes left, honestly. So I can definitely get that done in these next like 2 hours, essentially. And I don't know which book I'm gonna do afterwards, honestly, because I have Happy Place by Emily Henry, Scarred by Emily McIntyre, and then The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I know I don't want to go into another mystery type of thriller vibe, honestly, not after this one, because sometimes I can find myself kind of comparing the two, and then it just doesn't get good. But I don't know if I want a like pure romance yet, to be honest with you. So what I'm thinking is I might dive into Scarred, which is like a dark romance. I've also heard that it's kind of around like the fantasy realm as well too and such, and I might do that one, honestly, after I'm done with The Missing Half. But yeah, I will see you guys when I start the timer back up, and we will be continuing on for the next 12 hours to complete the 24-hour readathon. again, friends. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm currently outside as I'm recording this, honestly, and it seems like y'all can hear me, but I do have cars that are like coming like every once in a while that are coming like zooming past me and such. But I am basically here to check in and basically say that I currently have 10 hours and 7 minutes left of the timer. So I've been reading for about 2-ish hours, roughly, honestly. And I just finished The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers with with Alex Kiester. I did not guess the plot twist when it came to the actual storyline itself, but I will say it is an interesting book. I did, however, feel at multiple points that I was getting kind of tired of the story itself, honestly. And I'm going to give it a 3.5 for now, honestly, because, I mean, the last book I read by her, I gave 5 stars, but that was when I was getting, like, right into, like, reading and such, so I don't know if that would be a 5-star if I reread it in the future, but this guy, solid 3 stars. I kind of cared about the story, but also at the same time, I didn't really feel completely connected to the storyline itself because of what was talking about in the actual storyline itself, and I don't know, I couldn't connect with it that much, to be honest with you. I really could not really connect with it, to be honest with you. And it's not a bad thing, to say the least. It's not a bad thing, in my opinion, to be honest with you. It's just, it was just an okay read, honestly. It was okay, honestly. And I don't have the books with me currently, but the next books that I have Happy Place by Emily Henry, Scarred by Emily McIntyre, and then, of course, The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I'm not going to go into a thriller yet, to be honest with you, because I just finished off this mystery book and I have a tendency to kind of like compare like things and such like that, so I'm not gonna do that. And I don't know if I want to dive into like a typical romance book, honestly, with Happy Place. So I think once I'm done recording this, I'm going to start Scarred by Emily McIntyre, and I'll take you guys along with me with that. Again, like I said, honestly, I read Hooked by Emily McIntyre, gave that a 3-star. Don't remember much about the plot, but I do remember that I binged it within like a couple of days because it was just so fast paced, and it was almost kind of like watching a car wreck, honestly, like watching a car crash, honestly, like you can't look away from it, honestly, essentially. And with the storyline and such like that of Scarred, I think I'm gonna like that one a lot more, honestly, than Hooked, but we shall see, honestly. But that is the next book that I have up on the list, so I will see you guys once I start reading Scarred by Emily McIntyre. Friends, I'm coming to check in. So I am currently on chapter 30 of Scarred. I'm also listening to it on audiobook because I tried to just read it just like with music and I just couldn't do it, to say the least, honestly. So I bought the audiobook. I'm on chapter 30 currently, and I have about 5 hours and 26 minutes left. According to the audiobook, I have like 3 hours and 29 minutes left of that book, but I listened to it on 0.5 speed, so maybe I'll get over it faster, honestly. But I came to also kind of update how I'm liking the book, and I remember saying this maybe a couple days ago, or like when I was first starting it, that I was gonna like it a lot more than Hooked. And yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And just a little bit background on me. I'm getting a little bit new into the dark romance genre. I've read Butcher and Blackbird, gave that a 4 stars, loved that book. Second book I read was Hooked by Emily McIntyre. That one was a 3 star, same author who wrote this book as well too. That book was okay, don't remember much, but all I remember is I had a good time reading it, honestly, and I was very entertained while reading it, honestly. Same feelings I'm getting here, but that chemistry, oh my god, their chemistry is amazing. Their chemistry is amazing. And I think I've realized that as I get into darker romances, obviously when it comes to heterosexual romances, the man is always going to be kind of a little bit on the darker side, if that makes any sense. But I also think I like a darker woman as well too, because like I said, she, like the back of the book says, she doesn't belong to him. She belongs to the crown, but in reality and such, she wants to marry the king and eradicate the fossil line. So she is basically kind of like a little assassin, if that makes any sense. She's avenging her family, and what she doesn't know is that there's this this secret rebellion and such like that led by Tristan, who is the male love interest and such like that within the book. And I'm just like thinking like, oh my god, if you just talk to each other, then you guys could just take out your brother. And specifically I'm talking to Tristan when I say this. But specifically, if they talk to each other, they could take out Tristan's brother, Michael, essentially, you know? I'm just like, y'all talk to each other, but their chemistry, so gorgeous. Just mwah, mwah. Chemistry, so good. This is sitting in like the 4 camp, not 4 camp. This is sitting in like the 4-star range, honestly, you know? Maybe if something happens, maybe it'll be bumped up to a 4.5, but right now it's like a 4 star. I'm like exactly halfway through the book, if you guys can see that there, honestly, but I'm like exactly halfway through the book, and I'm really, really liking the story, honestly. I'm really, really liking the story, honestly. I'm hoping to get this book done, and if I can get this book done, then I will probably either start Happy Place or The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I'm not too sure which one, though, but we shall see, honestly. But I will probably be finishing maybe 3 books in total, but 3.5, like just in general, honestly. And like I said, this is my first time doing this challenge, so I had no idea what my reading speed was going to be or how like the books were going to keep my attention and such, because like I said, my reading really does depend on if I like a book or not. Especially if I'm like sitting down to read it, I can read it extremely fast. Sometimes if I need a little bit of help, I'll do the audiobook and like speed the audiobook up and such like that. But yeah, I'm really liking this, honestly. I knew I was probably gonna like it more than Hooked, but I didn't realize how much more I was gonna like it, honestly. But yeah, it's a good story. It's a really, really good story, honestly. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep reading, and I will probably do a little time lapse when I'm like 100 pages, when I have like maybe like 100 pages left. The book says it has like maybe like 3, what's the actual amount of story, I believe? 328. So once I get to page 228, then I will, not 28, 82. Why did that come up, honestly? But maybe when I get around that range, I will probably put on a time lapse, and then when we can read the rest of the book together, honestly. But yeah, I will see you guys in just a little bit. Hello again, friends. We're coming in with probably the final check-in that I'm going to be having for this video, considering that I have like 1 hour and like 11 minutes left, honestly, on this timer. And I don't think I told you guys this, but I've been periodically listening to The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. So I might end it off with that, honestly, listening to a little bit more of that book. I know I'm not going to finish that book in this challenge, but I don't really want to start the other books until like I have like a fresher brain, essentially, you know, to be able to do this. But as we're coming in with the 3rd and final book update, which is Scarred, I finished it. 4 stars. 4 stars. I knew I was going to love this. I knew that I was going to love this book so much, honestly. I just didn't expect how much, honestly. And as you guys know, I don't read dark romance that much. But this one, so cute. So fucking cute, honestly. Some things gave me a little bit of like, but then I also overlooked it at the same time. It's not a 5-star, I will say that, but this 4-star, it's just, so beautiful. The chemistry was there. The tension was there. There were real fucking stakes when it came to the conflict of this thing. And the third act conflict made absolute sense. If you like look at like how it's like supposed to be and how like there's like such Lion King like ties to this book, honestly, even though Emily like states in the beginning that it's not a retelling, but she really did heavily rely in taking kind of the world that was given to us in the Lion King and made it into this, but with humans and a really fucked up kingdom that in turn Tristan and Sarah decided that they needed to right the wrongs of people in the past, essentially. And I loved it, honestly. I loved it so much. The only thing that I'm really kind of upset about is we didn't get a full understanding of what Petit Mon Dieu means, but I'm guessing that has something to do along the lines of the nickname that he gave her, but I don't know, honestly. I am not too sure, to be honest with you. But I am pleasantly surprised by this. I'm pleasantly surprised. I knew I was going to probably like it more than I did Hooked. I felt more connected to these characters than I did in Hooked, to be honest with you. And I definitely will be continuing on this series. It's the Never After series and such like that, which is basically darker romances of retellings of like the first one was Peter Pan. This one has a lot of heavy things to do with the Lion King. I think the third one is called Wretched, I believe, which I believe is like a Wizard of Oz type of retelling, I think. And then there's another one where it's like a Little Mermaid retelling, you know, even though she says that they're not retellings, they're more kind of like a darker romance based on the worlds that was given and such like that. Like you could really tell the things and such like that when it came to this book. You could heavily see that there was influences of The Lion King, which I personally loved. The Lion King was one of the first ever movies I watched as a kid and truly felt absolute sorrow for the characters. And I felt the exact same way too with this one. I did not cry with this one, which is A-okay, to be honest with you, but I did feel super connected to the characters. And I will say, is the romance realistic? No. It's not. This is basically like a dark romantasy, honestly. So none of these would really happen, if that makes any sense. So I know it's fiction, but I do really love the way that Sarah and Tristan like built off of each other. The only thing that gives me the ick is at one point he goes in and labels her as Tristan's property somewhere on her body. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say, honestly. But other than that, I really liked this book. Solid 4 stars. And so far, we've had a really good look, honestly, in this challenge. I'm super happy about that. And let's check on how much time I have left on the timer. But I have about an hour and 6 minutes left now as I've been talking to you guys and such. And I was originally going to see if I could start The Last Word by Taylor Adams or Happy Place by Emily Henry, but I don't want to like start a new book tonight and then need to continue on tomorrow. Actually, you know, I could do that, to be honest with you. I could start it, honestly. I need to look and see, because I know I'm not going to be able to get far into the books, whichever one I choose, to be honest with you, because I literally have 1 hour left of this challenge because the challenge ends at 10 p.m. But yeah, solid 4 stars, honestly. I will see you guys when I'm reading my next book. Hi again, friends. The challenge is now over. We are officially done reading for 24 hours. As you guys saw the timer go off and you guys saw me dive into a little bit of Happy Place by Emily Henry, I did not get very far into the book. I got to chapter 6, page 50. So I only got about 50 pages in, which is a-okay, to be honest with you. But overall, this challenge was pretty fun. Did I get to all the books that I wanted to on my tentative TBR? Absolutely not. But the reason why I put 5 books on, because I didn't know how fast or slow I was going to read these books, honestly, I'm not going to lie. And I'm typically not someone who can really binge a book within a setting unless I really, 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 really love it. The only time I've really done that is for The Naturalist by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I binged most of Radio Silence by Alice Oseman and such like that, and also the graphic novels of Heartstopper. I binged those in a long time, in a short amount of time, honestly. But this is the first time I ever did one of these challenges, and I think it was a pretty good success, honestly. So I want to recap a little bit on the books that I read in the challenge. So the first book that I picked up for this challenge was, of course, Flawless by Elsie Silver, and I believe I gave this book 4 stars. Still remains true, still remains just so good. It was just so good. It was just so good, to be honest with you. My heart is just my heart is so full whenever I think of this couple, whenever I think of Rhett and Summer. It's just, this book is so cute and it's just so warm, and it's just, I definitely plan on continuing on the series because I want to see everybody else get their happily ever afters as well too. But yeah, this was the first book, 4 stars, really, really loved it and would recommend it as well too, honestly, just by itself, because I don't know about the rest of the book series, to be honest with you. Okay, then the second book that I picked up in this challenge was, of course, The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers and Alex Kiester, and this was a 3.5, I believe I gave it. That still remains the same, honestly. I started it yesterday and then obviously finished it today in the 12-hour mark, and I still don't really remember much about the plot, but I know that I was entertained. The 3.5 range for me is books that I know I like, but I don't remember too much of the plot, but I know I was entertained. Honestly, and I would recommend this to people. Specifically, I would recommend it to people who have blood sisters and who have a connection with their sisters on a very interesting level, because there's some interesting stuff that goes on in this book, honestly. It's also a really, really short book. It's 260 pages of actual story itself. And yeah, it wasn't bad, honestly. 3.5, honestly. Okay, and then the third and final book that we finished in this challenge and such like that was Scarred by Emily McIntyre. 4 stars. 4 stars. I will say that dark romance is not for everybody's cup of tea, honestly. I'm newly getting into dark romance as a genre itself, so I'm kind of figuring out what I like and don't like, honestly. And I was looking back through Goodreads to see what I rated Hooked. I didn't rate it a 3. I rated it a 3.5 because of just kind of the same type of logic that I had when I was rating The Missing Half. I was entertained, but I don't really remember much of the storyline. Oh man, I remember this storyline like crazy, to be honest with you, even though I only read it I literally read it a couple hours ago, honestly. Literally 2-ish hours ago-ish, roughly, honestly. More actually an hour ago, to be honest with you, because it's 10:15 as I'm recording this clip, essentially. But I loved the characters. I loved the development of the romance. A couple of things gave me the ick. I'm still getting used to the fact that this is dark romance, emphasis on the dark part, honestly, and I just don't know. I've read other dark romances, not in this capacity, but the funny comedic ones, it's a dark rom-com Butcher and Blackbird. I read those ones and I love that book. Second book in that series, not my favorite, honestly, but I'm slowly kind of learning what I like when it comes to the dark romance genre, and I liked this one. I liked it. Is it my favorite one, honestly? no, Butcher and Blackbird is probably going to be on top for me for a really, really long time. I love their chemistry. I love their banter. But yeah, I also loved the banter in this as well too, honestly. It was also a true like forbidden romance, but of course, like all forbidden romances, they just kind of threw that out the window because, oh my God, there's just so much passion and so much yearning. I will say there's not much yearning in this. It is very much, the two characters very much form a sexual connection with each other, honestly, and then they learn more about each other, essentially, that's non-physical, honestly. And I always kind of like to rate to see if dark romance couples could stay together in the end. I think Tristan and Sarah could. I think they could, honestly, but I feel like that they would have to do it where no kids were brought into the picture, to where it could just be the two of them, honestly, and then it would be fine, honestly. I know in this version there's an extended epilogue and such, and I did not read it. I want to, though, honestly, but I wanted to dive into the next book just to kind of like have something for the last remaining hour of this challenge, but I did really like it. It's a 4-star, honestly. 4-star. Okay, well, that is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Let me know if you think that I should continue on with the Chestnut Spring series. Let me know if you guys have read any of Ashley Flower's work, if you liked her, or if you have listened to her podcast, Crime Junkie, because I love listening to her podcast and such like that. And let me know if I should keep going with the Never After series. I think I'm going to, but just a little bit of your encouragement would be nice in the comments. And to round this out, if you stayed all the way to the end, I don't know if is there a rubber duck emoji? I think there's a duck emoji. Why don't you leave me a duck emoji in the comments if you've made it all the way to the end. Again, my Instagram and TikTok will be linked down below, along with my Goodreads and my Fable and such. The chapters are also going to be broken up into the books that I read for this video and such, and I've got a lot of links linking to the music that I use in my videos as well too. And I hope you guys have an amazing day, week, month, and year. See you later, friends.